Hello, all of you, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful people. It is a bittersweet Sunday morning if you're a Spurs fan. So I come to you with some comfort Coco and a comfort Jose. And we're going to have a good time. Irrespective of what's happening with Spurs and how we feel about it and all of the fights we're having, we're going to get along because we're a community and we love the club. So I bring, my emotional support person in Jose. You bring one along as well, and we'll all chill together on this stream. And Jose, how's it going for you? How are you feeling?
I'm okay. It's just an international week, isn't it? And with the international week, you get the same dramas. Um, Not necessarily so much from the teams that are playing away internationally, but from your own teams. Always things go on behind the scenes. You'd think that a few players and the manager would get some time off, a few days off during the 2 weeks international breaks. Those that haven't been taken to the or called up by their countries, but regardless of that, the reporters and the writers and the so-called in the knows all still work during international break, and they come out with a whole load of stories. So they keep communities like ours and other clubs, they keep us busy, Ash. But yeah, no, apart from that, I'm well. I'm happy to be on with you. Yeah, and I'm good. Thank you.
Yeah. Let's see if there's anyone who's joined us in the chat. There's somebody who hasn't joined us in the chat, and that's Queen Ellie. Saying sorry couldn't join you, darlings. My throat is not good, but big up to both Ash and Josefina. I wish you all the very best, Ellie. I hope you get better soon. And I feel like your throat has been bad for a while now, so I really hope that you feel better and that you stay away from Spurs YouTube until you feel better. Because I see you there, Ellie, at 3 in the morning, on American streams and such. Hope you rest up a little bit. Maddie's here saying big up. Hey, Maddie, what's up? And Finn's here saying big up Ash and Jose. Myself saying Wilson's surgery was to his right hamstring yesterday. Oh, I hope that he recovers. I know it's going to be a longish injury now, but a big up Ash and Jose. This will not become Mark's fishing talk today. Well, Mark, I believe Jose knows a thing or two about fishing. I mean, more than I do. The only thing I know about fishing is rowing the boat. So um, uh, I mean, I know that you don't have to get on a boat to fish. I know that much. Peter saying hi all 9:07 p.m. Melbourne. Good to know, Peter. Thank you for joining us on a Saturday evening. Is it? Wherever you are, it's lovely to see that you're spending your Saturday with us. Um, so let's get to it. Oh my God, there's so much Spurs drama. Uh, like I swear, if like when I was a teenager in high school, I didn't have so much drama as I do. Uh, and now that I like regularly keep up with Spurs news. Okay, Jose. So, as I don't know if everyone has heard, but there has been some talk in newspapers that there has been a falling out in the dressing room over Ant Postecoglou's behavior. Now, this could just be one of those news reports that means nothing. It could be something that is there to it. Who knows? It just could be sometimes human beings, they have losses, they react badly, and then everybody comes in the morning for training the next day, and it's all, forgiven and forgotten. Now, we don't know what exactly is happening, but Jose, how do you feel about all of this?
Um,
Oh, wait, first, if you could give us a rundown on what you think has happened.
well, a report came out yesterday from Footy Insider 247 yesterday morning saying that Ange has fallen out with uh, four players, and then four players do not include Madison, who in a previous during the week or last week it was said that Madison and Ange have fallen out as well. And my take on it, and what I said yesterday was, if this is true, I'm surprised about Vicario. Not surprised about a doggy because I think the doggy's been nowhere near playing really well this season at all. He's still building up in my sense, for my senses. He's not performing to where I think he can. Romero, another one that doesn't surprise me because I feel that Romero's our best defender. If you look at all the attributes, he's our best defender that we have, and he's the one with the most experience, and yet he has given away a few goals this season, or been at fault for a few of the goals this season. So therefore, that doesn't surprise me. But Bentancur surprised me as well because I thought with Bentancur had a horrific injury, as we all well know, and last season he did a few. He appeared for us last season, but he wasn't the Bentancur of old, and it was always going to take time, right, to get him back. He's back this season. However, now that he's back, although we're playing games every 3 days, Bentancur and Bissouma seem to rotate for that deeper line role, midfield role. And is it because we're playing 3 games a week, or is it because Bentancur plays really well one game, looks really, really good, and then has a poor game, and then Bissouma comes in. Bissouma looks good for a game or two, and then he goes off the ball, and then he brings Bentancur back. So, I'm kind of surprised if Bentancur is one of the ones that's fallen out, but that's what the report says. For me, I say to myself that if you're playing badly, then the manager has a right to substitute you, or has a right to drop you from the side, has a right to bench you. Who I don't know. Whoever's played football, right, knows that if you're playing badly, you're not going to be starting the game. You're going to be benched, or you're going to be hooked. Everyone knows this in football. So, and it's not the nicest thing, but what you need to do then is, if you're getting hooked or you're getting benched, what you need to do is you need to do better. So I don't know why players would want to question the manager, if they're the reasons why. However, if it's other reasons, and there are people saying it's because Ange plays a high line, that these players don't like playing that football, so these players are moaning about this, that, and the other. The other thing I will say is there's no smoke without fire, but 247 inside is not the best outlet. Doesn't often get things. If you looked at a percentage of what they release, how much they get right, it's not very high. But that's not to say there's no smoke without fire.
Yeah. Before we go on, I have a lot to say about this, but I do have to say hi to Nige, to Drula, and to Chris and Brian. Thank you for joining us. Um, I will. So my issue with all of this, and so Drula is saying if Ange pulled them up on their inconsistency and they've spat their dummy out, bench them, or get rid. We need leaders, not weaklings who sulk. You know, this is my issue with any Spurs manager, right? Like there was this idea that after we lost to Bayern, that Postecoglou, I'm saying Pochettino has lost the dressing room, and then he got sacked. And then there was this thing that Conte has lost the dressing room, Jose has lost the dressing room. We go through this again and again with every manager. Philly saying, oh, hey, Philly. He's just saying, celebrating another year today. I feel like I'm 52 supporting Spurs. Yeah, those are long years if you're supporting Spurs. Nita's here. Good morning, Ash, Jose, and Chad. Good morning to you, Nita. Nita actually went for the game yesterday against Arsenal, the ladies' game. Um, so the thing is, with every manager that we get, we hear this that the players fell out with the coach, etc. And w- when you have coaches like Klopp, coaches like Pep, yes, they win things, but when players go to them, they don't necessarily expect to play, right? And when Raheem Sterling falls out with Pep Guardiola, when Jack Grealish falls out with Pep Guardiola, or when, Klopp doesn't play Darwin Núñez in his first season, those players, they either find other prospects that suit them better, or they, shut up and put up with it. So to me, this whole idea that you're falling out is is ridiculous. Like, either you get with the program, and if it doesn't work, the manager will be sacked on their own performance, or go somewhere else and try better in somewhere you feel like you fit better, like what Christian Eriksen did. I didn't appreciate the way he left, but at least he recognized that he didn't want to be here. I don't want any player playing for my team who doesn't believe in the team and in what we're doing. Like, the thing about Destiny Udogi doesn't deserve to be a player that can cause problems in the dressing room. A, he's too young to be able to do it, and B, his form this season has been abysmal. If you want to have something to say about the way we play and what we do on the field and all of these other things, then you better be a player that deserves to speak. You know, like, if you're an amazing player with like great form and you're performing game in and game out, then that earns you enough currency and credit as a leader in the dressing room to say something about what's happening. But you can't be a player that's out of form, that's being dropped, that's making very like obvious defensive mistakes. It's not like the way Ange plays made Destiny Udogi check out for 5 minutes and we make a defensive mistake. The defensive mistakes he's made this season, some of them have just been down to his skill as a defender. And so you can't check out and then say, "Oh, I'm sorry, I don't believe in the way the manager is making me play or the dressing room problems, etc." You are far too young to be throwing tantrums and having problems in the dressing room. Like, uh, if you want to, like, for me as a person, who has been fired from jobs, who has quit jobs and gone other places, as we all have, and had disagreements with our bosses, etc., it's not like we stopped working. We couldn't just be like, "Oh, we're falling out, we don't believe in the manager, we are not going to play well anymore." Like, that's not the way it works, right? You just lose your job. uh like, I don't know. Let's see what the comments are saying, because I have very strong opinions about this. So Maddie Kushner saying, I don't think there's much into it. It's more coming from the press. Yeah, I agree. I do think they're just trying to make news. And this is why international breaks are bad. Always bring bad things. The thing is, the problem is that Spurs never win a game before international break. If we won a game before international break, all the press would be good. And then John Fitzpatrick is saying a blind man could see half the players have lost faith in the manager. And I don't blame them, if I'm honest. I say sack him now and get nicer and done with. You know, I'm not saying don't sack the manager. Like, if a manager's performance doesn't play out well, uh, like, whatever, like, like, let people make that decision. But the decision doesn't lie with the players. The players have no right to say which manager they want to play for or not play for. They're being paid to do a job, and they should do the job to the best of their ability. It does not matter whether they're being managed by Ange Postecoglou or Pochettino or whoever it is that's in there. You know, um, players definitely need to shape up or ship out. It's not all on the manager. Um, Everyone's talking to each other. Um, Philly's saying, "Big up, Ash. That's it. No player is beyond expendable. If a player doesn't want to be go, this player power has to end. The manager has to manage." Drula saying, "Did we not have this with Richie? The media came out, said he had problem with that, and Richie came out and cleared it all up, saying it was fake news." John saying, "Daniel Levy has destroyed this football club. How can fans have faith when the owners sell us a second-rate product and charge ridiculous prices? I blame the fan base. If I'm honest, no ambition." Um, then everyone's talking to Brian. And then Wayne's here saying, "Good morning. Hope you're all well." Well, I am well. It's been a hard week as a Spurs fan, so I come with comfort cocoa and a comfort Jose. He's my emotional support human. And Nigel's talking to Brian, and John saying the manager tactically hasn't a clue. He's in over his head. Let's be real here. That may be true, John. I don't disagree or agree with you. Like, personally, I don't call for the sacking of anyone. I don't think anyone should lose their job unless they're exploiting people, and, like, there's labor issues. I personally feel like that's not my call to make. I don't call for anyone's job to go away. But whatever the case may be, I do think that if there's any truth to this story, it should not be the players that revolt. Um, so Jose, do you think so? Like, do you think that there needs to be a change in frame, like this whole, like, we all sort of like get into these clubs of Ange in and Ange out, and that sort of simplifies the argument so much, because then the players also like group into these groupings, right? Because they're also affected by what they see in the media and how they feel in the dressing room. And it just becomes, oh, manager in or manager out. Do you feel like that's too simplistic a frame? Like, it's limiting all of us and it's dividing all of us for no reason.
Yeah, kind of. I mean, I think if you look at, I'm going to look at what my interactions have been like in the last few days. And my interactions with people in the last few days, panels that I've been on, uh, chats that I've seen on the panels that I've been on, and I've been busy this weekend with a family, but when I've quickly flicked onto and saw a few minutes here and there, the kind of flavour that I'm getting is that people are pretty pissed off. This news has come out and people are just pretty pissed off. But what I'm surprised about is that the pissed off people, or the people that are pissed off, are not necessarily grouping into one area wholly, right? I've seen a lot of people just pissed off, with the same, what people term the same rinse and repeat cycle. That's what people seem to be pissed off about. You know, the going gets a bit tough, and people are angry at certain people, but the person that then carries the whole can, if you like, is Ange Postecoglou. So yeah, I know he picks the team, he's the manager, everything like that. And he says that he wants to take it all on his shoulders and that. But I think people are pissed off, and it's a lot deeper than Ange Postecoglou that people are pissed off about. But the people that they're pissed off with will end up making decisions, and it will be if it happens, it will be Postecoglou that carries the can. I think there's a lot of people that said, let him see out what he's doing. Let's not do the same rinse and repeat cycle. Let's actually stick behind the manager, especially until this is like first third of a season. Not even that. We're not even a third of the way through the Premiership, so it's nearly one third of the season. So one third one season and a third that he's been with us, and give him time to do what he needs to do. Why are we all jumping on the bandwagon, or why are people trying to jump on the bandwagon and just get rid of Ange Postecoglou? We then go nowhere. We've brought in a load of players since him and Langer and the people have been here. We've changed the system from when we had previous manager. We've done a lot of things differently. Then to get rid of the manager, and whether people like it or not, you get rid of the manager, it's rinse and repeat, you start again. People don't like the buzzwords that people use, project, people use rebuild, but if you bring in another manager and that manager plays a different style of football and wants different type of personnel and stuff like that, what can you call it? What do you call it? It's starting again. If you're going from one manager to another, you're starting again. Now, with Ange Postecoglou and the previous manager with Conte, they played totally different football, completely different football. And when they played completely different football, you've gone from Conte playing this type of football on this side, and then we've gone to Ange coming in. He's playing football on this side, right? A lot of fans would probably like to see somewhere in between. So where we defensive, very defensive minded under
Someone
Conte,
like Emery, for example.
counter attacking team. With Postecoglou, we've gone to ultra attacking team. You know,
Yeah, I
and
mean,
it's
I'm guessing they want to see someone like Emery, for example, who's kind of like middle of the road. He attacks when he has to, and he can play defensive if he needs to.
yeah, you know, someone said this the other day, and I can repeat again. I heard someone say this the other day that their thoughts always were that whoever came in after Conte was on a hiding to nothing. Whoever it was going to be on a
Yeah,
hiding to nothing because you are trying to get away from what was perceived to be a lot of toxicity around the club at the time, right?
yeah,
Trying to change the culture, trying to change everything, and whoever came in to do that was going to have a difficult job. But there's how far across the barometer you've gone from one manager to another. You know, it may well be, and I'm not saying this. I'm not Ange out, by the way, but if Ange was to be replaced, or Ange left us in a position, um, you know, where there have been improvements made, and somebody else comes through the door, they may be that person that brings the team back this way towards that middle ground,
yeah.
where you do exactly what you just said, Ash. You know what I mean? Um, and I don't, Phil, I don't disagree with you. At the end of the day, Philly just put a comment in there. I don't,
Yeah, yeah.
you
I'm
know,
gonna read them all out.
yeah, I don't
Brian,
disagree with you. So to me, it's more the anger of the club, the anger of the supporter, and the anger of the fans. Listen, no one likes losing, right? Let's make that clear. None of us like losing, and we're all disappointed. We're all upset when we lose. Some people still remain upset for a long, long time and hold grudges. Some people like me get up, you know, are upset, but you know, after the game, I'm upset for maybe a couple of hours, and then it's gone because you know
yeah,
I've got
yeah.
life to
I'm
live
like
on
that
with.
as well.
Yeah, I've got life to live on with, so I'm not going to hold on to things and let them fester. But I totally understand, um, you know, the frustration from fans and where fans are coming from. I really do understand it. Um,
Yeah,
and you know, at the end of the day, I said yesterday, and Brian's in the chat now, and I was
yeah,
on a show. I was on a show with Brian the other night as well. Or for me, it was night time. It might have been early in the evening for Brian. And I said, look, at the end of the day, if the fans are disgruntled, right, and they're disgruntled with the board and that, and they start shouting out for the board, right, rather than the manager, then the board will know that you can't just go and sack the manager because the manager has not been the fans are not sounding the manager out, they're sounding the board out. And Brian just said
yeah,
to me, yeah, it goes, that'd be brilliant if it could work. But what they end up
yeah.
doing is they end up turning up
Please,
the
somebody
music.
sack that board.
No,
Like,
but Brian said what they end up doing, and he's quite right, and I didn't think of it, is that what they do is Levy tells his technics people to turn the music up so it drowns out all the boos. So when you do it at
yeah,
half time, when you do it after the game, he turns the music right up so it drowns out if people are booing the board and that. So, you know, it's a really difficult one, Ash. It's a really difficult one.
yeah. Brian saying, speaking of Brian saying, when the going gets tough, the week go running. It happens all the time. We don't buy leaders or players that have any professional pride or high standards. Drew is saying, I heard a lot of Spurs fans saying, if we beat Ipswich, we go above Arsenal. What sort of ambition is that? We should be saying we'll be closer to the top. Fans' mentality needs to change too. And Drew is also reminding everyone to smash them likes. Yes, absolutely. Whether you're Ange out, alien, human, fish, anything in the middle, you have to smash the like. Um, Wayne saying nothing changes, same old crap, the old transfer markets, the lack of effort, Koulibaly and Kassar all out in the effort and passion on the pitch. And then Dekaru saying, Jose, I'm tired of it all. Poch, Mourinho, Nuno, Conte, and nothing changes. Can't people see that there's a deeper problem? Ange's actually made changes. We've gone from defense to attacking. And Spurs GCTV has entered this very serious discussion, saying, Good morning, Ash and Jose. Good morning to you, Spurs GCTV. And
Morning, Graham.
Mark making a non fishing comment for a change, saying, After the first 10 games last season, though our form has been mid-table at best. Yeah, that is true. Big up Jose. When you raise prices, it needs to correlate with the product being provided. This ownership raised the prices this summer, so I expect a better product than what is being served
I don't
last year.
disagree with what Philly says at all. I just said
Yeah,
that I don't disagree.
absolutely not.
I
I
saw
don't
the
disagree
comment
with
and I
it.
don't disagree with it at all.
Yeah, yeah. Mark, back to his fishing. And then Drew is saying it's overreaction. Look at the table, 3 points away from being third. Um, and then Wayne saying managers can't win at our beloved club. They're on a hiding to nothing. This club takes one step forward, then 10 steps backward. The real problem is Levy. Why don't people see how it is no ambition FC? Christopher is here. Hi, Christopher. Welcome to this very serious show on a Sunday. Saying Ange has 4 games to save his job. I mean, people will put different timelines on that. A manager is always 1 game away from a sacking, no matter who they are. I mean, apart from Pep and Klopp. Dekaru saying what I've seen over and over again is we seem to have games where the players don't show up regardless of the manager. There's a culture problem. We need to back a manager at some point. Brian saying he turns the music up to drown out the boos and chants that come his way so the crowd doesn't get heard for TV coverage and get louder in the stadiums. But Levy says it doesn't affect him. Yeah, unfortunately, Brian, what happens is that, club support is really like an addiction. So, irrespective of how horribly we feel, we all still tune in. A lot of us still buy the merch. I mean, I don't, but like there are a lot of people out there who do. There are people who buy their season ticket year in and year out because they love the club. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with loving the club, but unfortunately, it also it makes us Levy's enabler in a sense because no matter how much fans boo him, the fact that they're there means they paid for those tickets. And that makes it really hard to really hard to get anything done. And then Nita saying Ange talks too much, but looking back at where we have finished in the Prem from 2018 to present, we need a trophy because we ain't gonna win the Prem soon anytime soon. Um, then Drew is saying this is the thing. If Levy shows no ambition, why should the players? Yeah, absolutely. Regardless of what we think of Ange and the club, let's stick together. We are all Spurs. We all want the best and just have different opinions of how to get there. I agree with that 100%, Nige. Um, and I have a larger point to make, and I'm going to use the ladies to make this point because there is no Ange in, Ange out with the ladies. They're a different gender. They have a different history compared to the men. They came in from a lower league, unlike the men. They haven't really won a major trophy or anything. They don't have that vaunted history, right? Uh, the That's why the ladies are a really good way to explain this to people, which is that last year the women reached a final. Just like the men reached the League Cup final, the women reached the FA Cup final. And now every fan would think, like if you were a Brighton fan or a Villa fan, you would think, okay, let's kick on from here, right? Let's get in a few good transfers. We have a good manager in place. Manager brought us to the final. We can do this. It's possible, right? Then the summer comes. Levy doesn't put any money into it. There are no transfers. There's nothing. There are transfers, but they're not as good as you would hope for, and you can't really compete with the Chelseas and Arsenals of the world. And so then you're languishing in like mid tier to bottom tier of the table because you have done nothing to push on. And at the same time, teams like Brighton, who are better run clubs, have strengthened, and they've sort of taken your rightful place on the table because if you're not there, somebody else will be. And it's really unfortunate that that's the case, but it is the case, right? And it's symptomatic of the problem. The problem is a mentality at the club where they preference the club as a business over the club as a footballing entity. And I feel like that's the problem. Like a business will do well if we're in the top half of the table because the fans are captive. but a footballing entity will do badly because eventually you lose the children. You lose the next generation, and then eventually the Spurs fans die out. This has happened to so many clubs, right? There are all these legacy clubs who don't really have that many fans anymore, or except for the die-hard faithfuls. So it's it takes 2 3 generations, but it is possible. But if you're a businessman, you're dead too. So you don't care as long as you're making money right now. Yeah, so that's how I feel about it. On to happier things. I do feel like we've talked about this enough. Um, do we, Jose, do you think we need to give Sunny a new contract? And before you say anything, everybody, there's an adorable video of Sunny eating British snacks and Korean snacks. He's like, how can you say no to that? He's like a giant, like a really cute South Korean teddy bear.
Right. The answer for me is it's a difficult one because Sonny's done well for us. Sonny's done well for us for the time that he's been with us, but has Sonny retained any value? If you were to sell Sonny, which is a bit late now because his contract runs out, unless you were to get to let him go in January, and even then, whatever price or whatever fee you could command for him, it would be decimated because his contract runs out next summer, and in January he'd go for far cheaper than whatever you think his value may be. I question how much his value would be now that he's getting on. He's certainly not worth the three-figure sums that he might have been worth maybe 3 years ago, 4 years ago. To me, you've got Mikey Moore, Yang, Odebert. You've got 3 young players there who will be playing on the right or left, whatever you look at it, however Tottenham look at it. The players that Tottenham have got there to play in them positions. Keeping Sonny for a further year. Are you nurturing Yang? Are you nurturing Odebert? Are you nurturing Mikey Moore? Or are you blocking their pathways? And that's something that obviously, if Tottenham must have some sort of an idea if they're looking to give him a further year's contract, and they must have some sort of pathway and further idea of what they're going to do. The thing is that if you lose Sonny, if you do lose Sonny, and let's say you got a fee for him, let's say someone gave you 40 million for Sonny, right? As we all know, that 40 million won't get reinvested in buying another player to replace him. And if you get 40 million for Sonny, you're not going to get another Sonny or anything nowhere near it for that price and that money. In order to get something near Sonny or as close as or better than Sonny, you have to spend big money. And Tottenham spend big money, but they scrimp on the wages. And a top elite player would be, forget about the transfer fee that they command. It would be the amount of money you have to pay them in salaries, and we seem to be lowering our salaries. It seems to be we had a 200 grand price cap
Yeah.
fair few years ago, and it
We
looks
still have
like,
that, I think.
yeah, only because we've got a few players left on that. But then if you look at all the players that have come in, they're all on the maximum of 100 grand.
Yeah.
So we're trying to keep it under 100. When you look at all the players that we're buying now, they're all under 100 grand. So
Yeah.
once Sonny leaves the club, then that's a 200 grand player gone.
Yeah.
You start looking down the list after that. There are not many people that are up in the 150s and upwards. You know, so with me, you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. I did turn around and say on the biggest Tottenham Sport Facebook page 3 years ago when it was the World Cup in Qatar. I turned around and I put a comment in there to say, because I felt that he was already waning back then, and he wasn't
Yeah.
playing well. It's when he had that mask on as well for the World Cup because
Right,
he's
right.
damaged his face. And I put in this big Facebook group, Tottenham Facebook group. I put in there, should we look at would you get rid of would you look at get rid of Sonny is what I put in there as my comment, and I got about 300 odd responses, and I was called everything under the sun for suggesting that should we sell him, and I responded back to everybody by putting a comment back in there saying I would go ahead and sell him if Klopp and Liverpool still want to pay 100 million for him. I would go ahead and sell him, and I would reinvest the money in Mohamed Kudus of Ajax and Manuel Ugarte of Sporting Lisbon, and we would still have change. And
Yeah.
oh my God, I got absolutely buried for making them comments 3 years ago. And now
Yeah.
and since then, people are all like, yeah, we should sell him. Yeah, we should sell him. I think the only place that you get any money for Sonny is if he went to Saudi. Other than that, I don't think there's value in selling Sonny anywhere else because no one will pay the kind of money that you think that he's worth. Um, but then again, it says to me, if Sonny signs a contract for a further year, then to me he becomes unsellable, if that makes any sense. Because
Yeah.
who's going to
Yeah.
buy Who will then buy Sonny a year further
Yeah.
down the line? I mean, if you were giving him a further year's contract now, and you were looking to sell him next summer,
Yeah.
then that would make some sense. There's value. There's some value there. But by giving him another year playing time rather than for saleable asset, then Sonny will end up finishing his career at Tottenham because he might even get a
Yeah.
contract thereafter. The other thing that you've got, and it's really, 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 really unfair, but shows what our club is like, is the amount of money that he brings into the club.
Yeah, I was going to bring that up.
Yeah,
Jose,
it's
before
just
we talk about that,
sorry.
I'm just going to like catch up on what everyone's saying about it. Maddie's saying I'd rather sell him for 60 million in the summer. And then Maddie's also saying last time to get big money, which is, I think, what Jose was saying. I mean, to some extent. And then Chris was saying his commercial value will be more valuable. And then David saying, if you want to see the mentality of this club and the total lack of ambition, then you only have to watch the Tottenham Hotspur ladies play and their clueless coach to see the future. Yeah, I mean, I hate to agree with David, but we've had our disagreements in the past. But I won't go as far as saying clueless coach, but the certainly the ladies do have a slight lack of ambition. And then Drew is saying Odegaard underwent surgery to fix his hamstring, so he'll be out for a while. And then Ellie's saying it's about time we got rid of this soft Spurs tag. Let's get some strong players with experience to make us winners. Yeah, absolutely, Ellie. Daniel Levy thinks that his new South Korean baby is Sunny's replacement, a 19-year-old to join the creche or this first team's academy squad. And then Philly is saying, I agree, Jose, in principle, Spurs should plan life without Sun, but after Kane, I don't believe that the club planned for it. And then Vindaloo's like, okay, let's hit these two with some serious questions. What are serious questions, Vindaloo? We're always serious. Can't you see? I come with Coco, so you can be as serious as you like. Brian Deckers like Wilson Odegaard has had surgery, so happy we don't risk going for injury-prone Neto, who's been fantastic for Chelsea. Odegaard was cheaper, and here he is. Wishing Odegaard a speedy recovery. Yeah, absolutely, Brian. I also think Odegaard will come good, but once again, it's one for the future rather than one for the now. And then Maddie saying Wilson injured bed. I hope that doesn't stick. It doesn't really sound. Maddie, work harder on the name. It doesn't have a ring to it. Nita saying giving Sunny the armband was not a good move for our team. And then everyone's talking to each other. Then Drula saying, so have we called Huek back? Sorry, Drula, I cannot pronounce that early, or was that scheduled for Jan? Was that scheduled? That was scheduled for Jan, right?
Scheduled for Jan, but he's now coming in mid-December because the season for Korea is, if I'm right, the season finishes in this month. Finishes towards the end of this month.
Yeah. Because we have a different weather cycle. And then Dan's here saying, good morning, Ash and Jose. Hope you're well. Yeah, like I said, comfort Coco, comfort Jose. Get with the program. David is saying no point selling Son at this time because any replacement will be coming into an inexperienced squad. Top players will look at Spurs' likely chance of winning trophies and will not come to Spurs. You know, it's true that we won't win trophies, but it is also true that we are one of the richest clubs in the world. So the likelihood that we'll go bankrupt or we'll have the problems that Barcelona did or the problems that, I mean, I'm not comparing us to Barcelona, but I'm saying that we are not going to have FFP issues. We're not going to have like court problems. We're not going to have any sort of salary issues. So there are benefits to coming as your first big club. There are benefits to coming here if you're looking for uh, there are some things that you get from this club that you may not get from some other clubs. Spurs, Dan's also saying big up to everyone in the chat. Oh, it's been a while, Kamolika. Kamolika is here saying Kamolika. And then saying namaste to me. Um, yeah, David's here saying a coach who has that big center forward taking corners with 4'2" winger who the coach says is a number 9 seriously deluded coach. Yeah, David's talking about Rob, not about and. Dekaru is saying, I just don't like all the talk about players not backing the manager who's in charge of the team. Look into that. I think you need to find the seed of our problems. Yeah. Um, and then Drula's asking, where's Jose's vanilla latte in his J mug? Yeah, we both bought comfort drinks. It's just one of those weeks, everyone. So, like coming back to Sunny, right? Like you were saying about his value as a South Korean superstar. Um, so there are two things here, right? Where when you talked about the future and building for the future, and that means selling Sunny so that we can build the young people like Odebear, to like the 2 or 3 young people now that we have in that position that we can develop them and build them and all of these other things. um, so there's the footballing aspect of it, and then there's the monetary aspect of it where you said that if we sell him, I don't know if we'd get the same value on him as 3 years ago. Now there's a third aspect that you sort of briefly touched on before I stopped you, and that's also the monetary aspect of keeping him, which is that because he's a superstar in Korea, he's going to be selling kits. He's going to be like his face is papered on everything, including Calvin Klein ads and Samsung ads and all of this other stuff. The brand of Son Heung-min gets butts in the stadium every week because every week there are hundreds of South Korean tourists who come to this Tottenham Hotspur stadium and pay for like tickets at overpriced rates. And Levy's increased those rates, and he'll keep increasing them as long as tourists will come and pay for it. But while pricing out the home fans, that's another story. But like the value of keeping him in terms of a brand, not as a footballer, but in terms of a brand. Like to me, that suggests that there are two solutions to this. Either you speak to Son and you come up with an understanding where you loan him out to another club and then he retires eventually from Spurs and becomes a Spurs ambassador and keeps that brand and keeps that business with us. That's one way to do it. And another way is like you elevate that brand and say, when you buy this player, you gain this brand. And so there's value to buying him irrespective of his performance. And you elevate the price in terms of his brand value. So what do you think about that?
I mean, me,
Yeah, you.
for me,
That's the only person I have, Jose.
sorry. For me, I make no bones about this. Tottenham, right, will loathe to sell him, right?
Yeah.
And it's as if he signed his name in blood somewhere along the lines with the club, because the club will not want to let him go because of the value and the amount of money that he brings into this club, which is unfortunate because that's the way that we look. That's the way the club look at it. They don't look at the footballing aspect of Sonny. They look at how much money he's going to bring into the club. And for the time that Sonny's been with us, I dread, and I couldn't put a final figure on how much money he has brought into that club, because the fans that come over from Asia to support Sonny, they fly over from Asia just for one game. Yeah, they'll pay whatever a ticket price is to come and watch him. They will buy the merchandise. They will do the Tottenham experience, if you like, not Tottenham Football Club. They do the whole Tottenham experience, right? And then they'll spend money watching the game. So they'll spend money, and money will keep going into Tottenham Hotspur experience or Tottenham Hotspur, whatever they call themselves. It'll keep coming in. And I dread to think that over the years, how much money. I mean, if you go to a Tottenham game, and there's some people here that go to the stadium as well, there are, I'm going to say there are at least 200 supporters, at least 200 that you see get there to the game 3 hours before a kickoff and silly things like that, all with their Sonny scarves and Sonny memorabilia and the Sonny placards and stuff like that. And 200 people coming in, paying whatever the fee is to get into the to get a ticket, and then spending all that money that they spend at the stadium already, buying the merchandise, going in the shop and stuff like that. If it was only 200 supporters every game, right, and then you times that by the amount of games that we have a season and that, and then you times that by the amount of seasons that Sonny's been with us, so a lot of money already. And then it's the knock-on effect that you have from other people then who can't get to the games, but then end up buying from the Spurs shop online and stuff like that because
Yeah,
it's Sonny. There's so
yeah,
much money, and I dread to think I couldn't give you a figure of how much I think Tottenham have made from having Heung-min Song there at the club. But and that's what I think Tottenham will look at that and think to themselves, there is no money and there's no fee because okay, let's say Ash, you sell him for £60 million, right? And you bring £60 million back in, they would probably make more than £60 million if he signs another contract for another year. So that's another 18 months left on his contract at Tottenham. They sell more than £60 million in merch, people coming to watch him in the Tottenham Hotspur experience and everything. They'll make more than £60 million from fans around the world for Sonny. So therefore, it makes no commercial sense. And this is where we get twisted. Instead of looking at his footballing ability, Tottenham look at his commercial value. And it makes no sense at all for Tottenham to let Sonny go because of his commercial value. And then if he went to another club, like you said, then would people still be buying Tottenham merch and stuff like that if Sonny was loaned to another club? No, the supporters that supports because they don't support Tottenham, they support Sonny, and the people that support Sonny will just go and spend their money on if we loan him to another club, they'll go and spend their money at that club instead. So
yeah,
that for me is the reason why I don't think they'll do anything like that. As I said, it's a sorry state of affairs that we will only look at Sonny as a commercial cash cow rather than a player that's on decline. And that's the way we look at it. So that's the way I stand with it. Sorry.
yeah. For me, I feel like we have to put the football first. If we complain about, like this ties into Vindalu's question about Levy. He's saying the Spurs fan base has been very patient with Levy and his beautiful stadium and Beyonce's booty. But is it time to that the fans unite and remove Levy for a better future? And this was my point earlier as well about the business entity and the footballing entity. Like to me, I feel like I love Sunny. I adore him. I adore the man. I love him. But like to me, you have to make the best footballing decisions for your club. If
Yeah.
that means selling Sunny so that someone else can come in, then that's what that means. Then that depends on the manager's discretion. People who know football better than I do. I certainly can't make the decision. But it should not be Daniel Levy making that decision based on the money he earns from Sunny. It should be based purely on footballing merit of keeping him or selling him. That's the only thing that counts for me. Like if we make money off him by selling him, great. We've made enough money off him already as a South Korean superstar. So he has well paid his dues to this club in terms of the amount we've gotten out of him. So I just think that whatever the deal is and how much ever money we get, we should make the decision that's best for Sunny and that's best for the club. and that should be based purely on football. And that's the same answer of Indaloo that I will give to you for the Levy thing, which is that a beautiful stadium and Beyonce are not football things. So I would personally ask for higher standards in terms of a football club playing football rather than a football club that has concerts and a beautiful stadium that's a tourist attraction. Jose, if you want to answer Vidu's question. It's about removing Levy.
Right, Vindaloo. I said on a previous show, right, to me, I fear that in one shape, way, or form, that these people will be at the club, right, will be at the club beyond my lifetime as well. If Daniel Levy were to pass of old age further down the line, I've got a feeling that he will just pass whatever he has down to his children, and therefore it continues. A bit like Joe Lewis. Joe Lewis has sold his part of the or come off the board, but he's given it to his children and he's put it into a trust, and his children are part of that trust and stuff like that. So it continues. It doesn't matter. It just continues down, into the families, and so therefore you will have some shape, way, or form of Enoch Levy type thing. Sounds like a horrible thing, but this is what I believe will happen, and I don't see these people selling the club. If they're going on and they're building more and more stuff, I don't see them selling the club. They've built a juggernaut that's out of control, and I don't see them selling anything. That's
Yeah.
my thought, Ash.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you. Dan, we covered this sort of at the starting of the show. We do think that it's possibly journalists just wanting a story to write about. But if there is any truth to it, then like we discussed, players don't have players have to do their job irrespective whether they agree or disagree with the manager, and then firing the manager comes down to his personal individual performance. um, then Videkar was saying, I think Levy is happy bringing in constant income. He isn't interested in team success. He'd probably be happy if forever finish sixth. Sadly, I don't disagree with that, Dekaru. Philly saying, who would you say is more commercial as an asset, Sachin Tendulkar in India or Sanjit Korea? So Sachin's now kind of old, so he's kind of like in the previous generation. But if you were talking about, say, Virat Kohli or someone, I would say, India is the most populated country in the world. We are like 1.4 billion of us. So just in terms of sheer numbers, we would win that. Because I mean, we tend to be loud and proud on the internet, if you know anything about Indian fans. And then Kamalika is saying, yeah, Kamalika is being Kamalika. Everyone's talking to each other. And then Ricard was saying, even as an Australian, I think Sunny is probably most popular of all Asian players. Yeah, honestly, even as a South Asian, even though I'm not from Southeast Asia, I take great pride in Sunny as well because he is perhaps the most recognized Asian player, and he makes it feel like for the other Asians that it's possible to achieve superstardom in a sense, uh, and not just and like to make it in Europe, which is something that's really been hard for Asian players. There have only been a few handful who've really like Jisung Park and Sunny who have just like made it really, really big. Um, and then everyone's talking to each other again. And then Nigel's here saying he's late. Oh, you're never late. Everyone's always on time if they're liking and subscribing. Um, yeah, exactly, Nile. Like, subscribe, and share. Um, everyone's talking to each other. And then we have Nita saying it would have been the same if he had never had the armband. They would still be spending and coming to support Sunny. Yeah, the question about whether he should be captain or not is a decent question to ask. He doesn't play most games anymore. So the whether we should give the captaincy to somebody who plays more is a question that is worth asking, I think, Nita. Vindaloo saying it all boils down to Levy at the end of the day. He's turned your football club into an entertainment center. Hey, entertainment center! It's an entire lifestyle experience. There's going to be a hotel, and there's F1, and there's concerts, and it's not Spurs. It's a lifestyle. And then happy birthday, Philly. I did not know that it was your birthday. Happy birthday
Yeah,
to
happy
you.
birthday, Philly, mate. I wish you all the very best and have fun, mate. Have fun.
Yeah, Kamalika saying I teach villains how to be villain and I teach protagonists how to deal with villains. Good for you, Kamalika. Rula saying if you see that Sunny's a commercial asset, can you imagine how Sunny feels that he's only there for that purpose and not for his ability as a player? Yeah, and I do think that he's a very proud person. Sunny, he doesn't like to rest on his laurels. So I do think that he would like to play. I think that's what I got. The frustration I got from him when he was subbed is that he wants to play, and that's commendable in a player. Toxic Headshot is saying, "Hi guys, hi to you, Toxic Headshot," and I love that name. I love that name. Um, Julia, forget how Sunny feels, forget the attachment, be ruthless, get the rubbish out, and bring the talent in. I would not go as far as calling him rubbish. I still think he has a few goals left in him. I just don't think it's enough to be earning the salary he is. If he were to be taking a pay cut and then willing to sit on the bench and come on as a super sub, I think he'd still be fantastic as a sub. Philly saying just spending time with the people you love. Yeah. Everyone's talking to each other. And then Paul is here saying, Paul was here for a second. Yeah, it's Ash and Jose. Good morning. It is us. Well spotted, Paul. And then everyone's talking to each other again. Um, and then toxic headshots. Vindaloo saying to answer, we are rubbish this season, and if Ange gets sacked, I hope Arteta is on the same bus. Yeah, Arsenal and Spurs, we tend to live and die together in some ways. It's very odd. It's karma, maybe. CB saying he won't do that, and deservedly so. He brings a lot of money into the club. Yeah. Okay, enough, Sunny. I feel like we've gotten as much as we can out of that discussion. The third thing we have to talk about, and it's a little bit of a sad news, and we won't go into whether we think those comments were racism or not, or like they were unfortunate, however you want to put it. And there's been some debate over whether it should have been the club that takes action, whether the Premier League was entitled to take action. All these things are up in the air. um let's like, I feel like that's not a productive discussion to be having as a Spurs fan. Let's focus on the future. Like, what does this 7-match ban look for us? Jose, what are your thoughts on this?
Um, for me, what it does is catapults catapults Archie Gray into the conversation for me, because up until now, Bentancur and Biss have rotated, or whichever man is deemed to be more informed than the other has played. We have such a heavy duty fixture list when we come back next week. It starts with Man City, and it's a game every 3 days, every 4 days, however you look at it. It's 3 games a week, basically, all the way through till the end of December. And even in January, with the FA Cup being introduced in January, we've got games, we've got games near enough every 3 days in January as well, because we also culminates in the last 2 games of the Europa League as well. So for me, seven English games is what he's banned for. So he's banned all the way up until including the Liverpool game. So his first game back will be if selected, his first game back will be the 26th of December against away at Forest. So to me,
Right.
you're talking about seven matches between now and then. Bissouma, if he plays all 7 matches, Bissouma's going to be knackered. He'll be absolutely knackered.
Right.
Now,
Right.
and that's why I'm thinking to myself that Archie Gray has got to now be talked about as the rotation with Biss in that position. I don't think Pap Sarr can play that position. I think Pap Sarr is quite clearly not a person who can just hold and play that position. And I don't think we've got anyone else in the team that can do it either at the moment. So, yeah, to me, it opens up Gray getting more game time in the position that we all believe that is Gray's natural position. Not right back, not left back, not centre back, but playing in the midfield.
But
But,
like
but,
think
but
about the games we have. Do you think Gray has the Europa League games are also now tougher, right? Um, and like we've played except for one team, all the other teams are really tough. And in this league as well, we have a tough fixture list ahead of us because we lost to two easy games against Palace and Ipswich.
yeah, but it's not about the tough games. It's about the rotation. There's no
Yeah,
way that I think Basuma's going to play 7 games on the bounce.
yeah, of
I
course.
don't think he's going to do that. So that's where Archie Gray comes into the conversation for me. But what's
Yeah,
interesting is that Ange has got a decision to make because
yeah,
although Rodrigo's banned for 7 English matches, he's
yeah,
still available for the 2 European matches against Roma and Rangers. So what do you do? What do you do with Rodrigo? Do you keep Rodrigo out of the side and away from the team for the whole time until the 26th of December, or does Rodrigo come in and become that rotation just in European games? And that will lessen the load on Bissouma, which means it lessens the load on Gray. There's decisions to
yeah,
be made, or
yeah,
are you going to allow Gray to become the rotation in the European games? It's one of them ones. You've got to weigh it all up. But at the end of the day, we've lost Odebert through injury. Obviously, yesterday he had his surgery to correct his hamstring issue, which means that with corrective surgery now, he's likely to be out for a minimum of 4 to 6 weeks. So he's
yeah,
likely to be back around the same time as Bentancur comes back. If if
yeah,
he's if his recovery goes to plan and he doesn't have any mishaps. So you're down Bentancur, you're down Odebert. How many other players are you going to be down, which is going to drain the squad even further? Um,
yeah,
that remains to be seen because I haven't got a crystal ball, so I can't tell you how we're going to be pitched up then. But if it's anything like we are now, where we've lost other players through injury, I mean, Richarlison will be out as well. So when you start looking at, you're draining your resources because we haven't got the biggest squad. And for me, there's decisions that Ange's got to make. But for me, Archie Gray comes into the picture far more over the next period of time, and it will be in what we believe is his natural position.
yeah. Shout out to Mark Cook who's saying morning, who's using his membership chat to say morning all, keep up the great work you do. Thank you for that, Mark. Member for
Mark's in
3 months.
Mark's in, yeah, Mark's in Spain watching the MotoGP. So I hope you
Oh
have a really
wow.
good day today, mate.
Yeah, so then he's having a great day. And then I will say this about Benton Kerr. It is a silver lining to me that he can play the Europa League games. I don't think we have a choice but to play him in all the Europa League games. And like, then, because we can't play him in the PL and we can't play him against Manchester United in December either, right? So that just leaves the Europa League game. So I think we should play him because we do have problems in our midfield apart from Benton Kerr because Madders is not really performing well either. And so Kulu is facing problems with rotation as well. So there are, like the midfield was where we had the most bench strength, but the midfield is also where we have the most out of form players. In a sense, actually, no, that's not true. The midfield is where we have the most bench strength, but we do also have some out of form players. After the previous Europa League game, I don't know if I trust Lucas Bergwall to be a good rotation option either because he had an abysmal game. But then so did the rest of the team. So I don't really know whether we can pin that just on him. Big up to Danilist with a 299 pound super sticker. And here I can't see what the super sticker is, but Jose, if you could figure that out, that would be
Okay, let
great.
me have a look if I can
Um,
find it.
and then Toxic Headshot is saying play Archie Gray. Yeah, I think that's where everyone's at. And he's also saying not looking good for Ange. Yeah, it isn't looking good. All the odds seem to be stacked against him a little bit. Great. And thank you, Niall, for that lovely compliment.
It's like
We are doing well.
is it a green? It's a green chicken type thing that's going like that with thumbs up, coming up with a thumbs
Oh,
up.
oh, well, thank you for the green chicken thumbs up sticker, Dan. Um, and then Vindaloo's asking, why are Tottenham strikers like grizzly bears? I feel like I don't know the context of that. Are they like grizzly bear? Oh, he explained it. Every fall they go into hibernation. Hey, we don't know yet. It's possible that Dominic Solanke will just go have a few run of games where he just like scores lots of goals. Who knows? The future is unknown. But yeah, I think that sort of covers. Oh wait, Peter has gifted 5 Tel Cockerel memberships, and I'm
I'll have to.
not.
I'll tell you now. I'll have to look
Uh,
that up. So
One sec.
thank you
I'm
very
just going
much.
to check who it went to.
Right, Tony
Uh,
Rodriguez, Fiona, Spurs Kings TV, Nate Pye,
an international observer.
an international observer.
So, congratulations to all these people. I hope if you are in the chat, please do thank Peter for that very generous 5 membership donation. And if you aren't in the chat, maybe leave it in the comments below so that Peter can uh, check it out later and know that he is appreciated because we appreciate him. He is spending his Saturday evening with us. So that is
Sunday,
always. Sorry, Jose, what did you say?
Sunday evening.
Oh, is it
They're in
backwards
front.
or
No,
forwards?
they're in front of us.
Oh, okay. So he is spending his much
Sunday.
loved, beloved Sunday evening with us. So that's a really, really like lovely of him to do, especially because tomorrow is the dreaded Monday morning. And so everyone do thank Peter. Big up, Peter. Um, so that covers most of the Spurs news, so to speak. The next game is Man City. I'm just I'm not doing like a whole preview, but thoughts on the Man City game, Jose? Just like a brief thought.
Um, I look forward to every game that Tottenham play. I really do. I look forward to every single game that Tottenham play. But this is Man City. Man City who are running off a 3 or 4 game loss, whatever it is.
Yeah,
Although let's put it into context, they are all away from home. All the
yeah,
all the games are away from home that they've lost. But yeah, Dr. Tottenham turned up against Ipswich. It's really funny because we've had a number on Man City, rightly or wrongly, we must be their bogey team, rightly or wrongly, in all competitions that we play against them. Um, it remains to be seen what happens, what Tottenham turns up, and on our day we could end up nicking the victory, and on our day we could end up getting thumped. You know, um, it depends as well because Man City, we know that we've definitely got Odebert, Richarlison are out, definitely. With them, they may well have a full strength team because just before the international break, De Bruyne made a substitute appearance. I don't know whether Grealish will be back, but they had some defensive issues or injuries before the break. But at the end of the day, Man City's Man City. Doesn't matter who they've got injured. They should have a squad that should be capable of churning out and putting a team out on the pitch. So it remains to be seen. So you come from a loss against Ipswich, you come on the downer from that game into international breaks, and you get welcomed back into the Premier League. Oh, by the way, you're playing Manchester City away. So it
yeah,
remains to be
yeah.
seen. But as I said, win, lose, draw. I'm talking about it now. I look forward to every single game we play.
Yeah, The Dr. Tottenham thing is really worrying me because City really do need that win, especially for the title challenge. And so I do worry about the fact that we're going to City away, losing to Ipswich and then losing to City will just cement the whole negativity for another week. And I don't know if I can live with another week of negativity. I might just like switch off Spurs YouTube for a while. And sorry to disappoint you, early dose football. It's Ash and Jose. Colin is not here, unfortunately. And yeah, I mean, I can do. I can't even do an American accent. So impersonating Colin would be hard. Um, uh, I mean, I can talk about anime. We have that in common. But apart from that, nothing else about me reminds you of Colin. I mean, I can't even grow a beard. So that's unfortunate. Um, but on that note, I feel like we've kind of covered most of the uh, Spurs international break news and all of the sad things that are happening with our club in a happy way. Everybody learn to get your comfort cocoa or vanilla latte like Jose does, and get a comfort Jose as well. I highly recommend it. Keep coming back to the channel for your comfort Jose. And Jose, what do you have anything in the plans for you next?
Tomorrow, I'm doing as we've been doing this show, I've been updating the predictions league. So I've got that tomorrow. Interesting week. Bloody hell, very interesting week. For those that played and took part this week, you'll understand what I'm talking about. Ash, how did you find it? Did you know all the teams that I sent you?
I knew like two of the teams that you sent me. I like literally had no clue. I was just filling in scores for the sake of it. It was just literally like, let's put some numbers on the board. I had no clue. I'm bad at these to begin with. So it doesn't even matter if I did know because I would suck anyway. But
I mean, for those people that haven't taken part, is there any chance that would people be able to predict the score for this game? Only for people that haven't taken part.
yeah, let's everyone predict the scores for this game. I mean, that looks like West Ham to me. Like,
So
um,
what's the team's names?
I don't know, West Hamos versus Umelts. Is that like a scramble jumble thing where they're actually anagrams for like
No,
West Ham
no,
and
no, no,
somebody
no,
else?
no, 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 no. There's not nothing to do with that. No, nothing to do with that. But
Oh, oh, I see it now. Toxic Headshot has it.
oh
My
yeah,
God.
you can blame this on Kuva. Kuva, we set everyone up. We set everyone up on the show.
I was just
We
like, some of these teams look familiar, but I was like, maybe he just means West Ham or something like that. Like that's what I was doing for most of the teams, and I was just making shit up as I was going because I was like, I don't know any of these teams.
No, but yeah, but the teams were like wild because the teams we went to. So this week for the international predictions, a bonus week, right? Just so people understand. Just so people understand, where did we go? We went to Algeria, Angola, Argentina, Armenia, Bosnia, Brazil, Bulgaria, Burundi, Costa Rica, Croatia, New Zealand, Netherlands, Poland, Serbia, the Seychelles, and Spain is where we went to for the predictions this week. So in the end, Kuva, whilst I was doing the prediction show on Friday, Kuva sent me a message on WhatsApp and said, "Check your message." So he said, "Check your message on WhatsApp," and he put it in the chat so everyone could see it. So I've gone and got my phone, um, looked at it, and he said, "Jose, skip one of the teams and throw in West Hamos." So initially, I did that, and I made the game, and the game was West Hamos versus U Soups.
Yeah.
And people put the prediction for the game in. as if it was an actual game, because all the other games, all the other matches were like from teams that people had never heard of. People
Yeah.
actually thought that was a match, so they all put it in there. And then later on, I changed it to you melts rather than you soups.
Yeah.
So people here were in on Friday, and people found it quite funny. It was a really funny prediction show. But yeah, I've got the results for that. I've been working on the results now whilst we've been doing the show, because otherwise I'll have no time to do it. And it makes for interesting reading. This week has been, and I'm not going to give anything away, but this week has been really funny for some people. Yeah, some people it's been
Yeah.
really funny. Peter
Um,
Gagaius is telling me to shut up.
yeah. You have everybody in the comments either laughing or raging or like somewhere in the middle of that. It's lots of fun.
You
And
got,
then John,
but you've got. Look, Carl Simpson. You proper did me like a kipper.
yeah.
Tony from West Ham. Look, you're being funny. Toxic Headshot says Jose do Arsenal. I may well do. Uh, Carl Simpson. But Jose, was it 1-2 though? Nita's saying that was two funny predictions this weekend. Drula says you took us around the world and I got severe jet lag.
Yeah, for
But
sure.
Mapping's here saying big up Jose and Ash and Ash. Let's big up Ash as well, Mapping.
Yeah, Ash exists. She
Peter's
doesn't look like Colin, but she exists.
Peter's telling me to shut up. Dragon D's Nut says, "What's you melts?" Oh yeah. It's a term of endearment. Carl Simpson says, please say I've got more than a point. There was one person that scored 0 this week. That's what I'm going to say to you. And I
Is that
think
me? It's probably me.
no. The one person scored 0, and we have. I think we might. One person definitely scored 1 as well. So yeah, the scores were quite weird this week. But there we go. And there you go. Look, you got big up Ash 2 from Mapping.
Yeah, there we go.
4-1
And
West Haram, says Toxic Headshot.
yeah.
And there you go. You've got
Vindaloo
yeah.
saying, what's the difference between frequent flyer miles and West Ham? And the answer to that is frequent flyer miles earn points. And then Carl saying, if I'm better than 0, it's a plus. Love the predictions. Yeah, everybody loves predictions. So that kind of brings us to the end of this show. Everyone, make sure that you check out the prediction show that's tomorrow with Jose. And if you have the time, make sure to check out my channel as well, which is a Spurs Ladies channel. It's called at All About the WSL or
Still there? Hello? I think Ash is frozen. I think Ash was trying to put. Is this her link? Is that her link? I'm not sure. But let me see if I can find Ash's channel. If you bear with me. Let me put it in for her. And it's called All About. Let me have a look. Let me have a look if I can see her channel. Bear with me a second, people, because I didn't expect her to freeze. I'm going to look at it now. I'm just looking the channel up now. YouTube. Right, here we go. All about, yeah, I've got that. All about the WSL. Right, let me do it now. Right, there we go for people. Let me just put it in there. So, yeah, please sub to Ash at www.youtube.com, all about the WSL. Ash works really, really hard on that channel. And she did a live watch along yesterday. They did a live watch along yesterday for the Arsenal Tottenham game. While she's not about, let me see what you've got. You have got Carl Simpson says, I'm better than zero. If I am better than zero, it's a plus. Love the predictions. Vindaloo says, right, got to go. Thank you very much for being here, Vindaloo. The Sheriff says, who's top of the online one? Just asking, says the Sheriff. Don't know. We'll find out next week because it hasn't been on this week. Mr. Vindaloo, see you at Mr. Halftime Hooks after this, says Donna Cullen. Drew Lass says, great stream, guys. Thanks. Have a good day all. Carl Simpson says so much. Thanks so much. A great show. Oi, oi, Mr. Shear's here. Mr. Shear, good morning. Good evening, Mr. Shear. I hope you're well. Toxic says Ash is frozen. That is her link. Yeah, I've just put her link in there. Mapping says, Jose and Ash, if you both weren't a Tottenham fan, which other London club you would support? Mapping, if I wasn't a Tottenham Hotspur fan, I wouldn't support another London club. That's my answer for you. I would not support another London club. I would just support Deportivo de La Coruña, who's my team in Spain. I can't answer for Ash because she's not around. Toxic says, big up Ash. 1 point, says David Shear. David Shear, did you write your scores down, Mr. Shear? I don't think it was you that got 1 point. I don't think it was you that got 1 point. I'm not going to give anything away because it's all on tomorrow, the show. But yeah, all I'll say is I've got the averages and that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, I'm going to give it all. I'll let everyone know tomorrow. Women and men are no different. They're quite alike. Both get battered at home in the NLD, says Mapping. Ouch, ouch, ouch. Drula says, I didn't do that bad this week with predictions, considering. So Drula must have kept a score of what she did. Drula, yeah, it wasn't bad at all. You were put this way, Drula, without giving away how many points you scored, because I don't want you to do that. You were above average, is what I'll say to you. Peter's saying hello to David, his brother from Down Under. Toxic liked my answer. It is what it is, Toxic. I support Tottenham Hotspur, and in Spain, I'm Deportivo de La Coruña. And even though Deportivo de La Coruña, we've been down in the doldrums, we're now in the second division. But we were down in the third division regional where we've been relegated over and over and over the years because of mismanagement and finance issues. The interesting thing about Deportivo de La Coruña, if people want just an interesting thought for you all, is that in 2007, we were declared bankrupt with, I think we owed, I mean, it's not big money compared to now, but I think it was about £460 million is what we owed. And we were declared bankrupt. We couldn't pay our players, couldn't pay them at all. So we had to release everyone from contracts. And then we went down into the second division. And when we went down into the second division, we ended up playing with teams, or since then, we've ended up utilising the Fabril. The Fabril is our kids from the kids academy, using players from there, getting players in on free transfers, and not being able to pay out much on salaries. And we were put into the hands of the bank, and the bank then set up a plan on how to recoup and how to finance the club to pay off this debts, right? And it's 461 million. And then obviously you've got to run the club every season. And this season, at the end of last season, we came out of debt. So we paid everything off by the end of last season. And with the plan that Deportivo had in place, we came out of debt 17 years earlier than what was predicted. So, yeah, we're now in the second division. There's 24 teams in the La Segunda, and I think that we're just under mid-table. I think we're about 17th or something like that at the moment. We have got a very young team. They're all kids, basically. But we have got a player called Lucas Perez, who played for Arsenal, who Arsenal signed from Deportivo, and then West Ham signed him from Arsenal, and then he went back to Spain. Well, Lucas Perez is now 35 or 36. 2 seasons ago, he gave up his contract. He was offered a new contract for a Primera team, whoever he was playing for, and he neglected that contract to come and sign on a free for Deportivo. And he said he was going to Deportivo and signing for a free because he wanted to help Deportivo get back up the leagues. And we did that. We got back up to the second division. You've got a youngster from Arsenal. We've got, his name's Charlie Patino, which I don't know if Vindaloo's still here and he remembers him, but he was one of these supposed kids that was coming through the ranks at Arsenal that was meant to be a world beater. Well, Charlie Patino, when his contract finished at Arsenal, Charlie Patino left Arsenal and went to Deportivo La Coruña. So he's very young. Charlie Patino can only be 18, 19 years of age. He's really young. And he's gone to Deportivo. And he said, although he wasn't born or although he hasn't spent time in Spain, that Deportivo is in his family's blood. And he felt the need to not sign for anyone other than Deportivo to try and help Deportivo come back to the former years when they were in the Primera Liga. So there's a bit of story and a bit of history for you around Deportivo. So, yeah, there we go. She says, I always write them down and I check the results and I put when I scored. So I don't know where you guys would have found the results, but I know where I found them all. I found all the fixtures, but you have to really search for them. Nita says, I hope I've got more than 6 points and not 0 points. Nita, all will be revealed tomorrow. All will be revealed tomorrow. I did this week about how could you not with the teams. David Shear says he just wings it. Spurs GCTV. Spurs GCTV, you asked me a question earlier on. I don't know whether Ash is coming back, so if she comes back, it'd be great. You asked something earlier on, and I'm sure it was you, and it wasn't read out by Ash because you. Oh, here we go. Jose, just out of interest, were the predictions results all over the place? If anything, it was all luck. The predictions were all over the place in the sense that if they weren't all over the place, then we would have all scored extremely highly. Some people scored all right, and some people didn't. Right? Some people scored all right, some people didn't. There's been movement around in the table, is what I will say. Yeah, there's been some movement around the table. I'm still doing the table now. I've only got to 61st place. I'm still trying to put the table together to see who's where and what. Yeah, there were people that didn't play, obviously, missed out because it was a chance. So this week, basically, it's a free hit for people to try and make points up on others. So that's basically what it was all about this week. And some people have managed to do that, and some people haven't. But all will be revealed tomorrow. Yeah, all will be revealed tomorrow. So, people, thank you very much for joining the show today. I'd like to thank each and every one of you for being on here today. It's been great having you all. And obviously, I have got to thank Mark Cook for morning all. Keep up the great work you do for his 3-month member chat. I have to thank the Spurs Danalist for his super sticker. Thank you very much, Dan. It's much appreciated. And Peter Kigaias, who gifted 5 channel memberships. Thank you very much, Peter. It's very kind of you. And yeah, like with everything, Pete, let's all be good to each other. And let's keep supporting Tottenham. And I just got some comments coming in. It says Mappin says big up great to catch up with you, Jose. Big up, take care. And you, Mapping, take care. Philly saying, Phil Coys, big up, Jose. I remember when Deportivo were good. The likes of Roy Mackay, Valeron, Diego Tristan, etc. Yeah, they weren't bad. Suppose GCTV says, cheers, Jose. Always appreciate your work, my friend. Thank you very much. Drula, flexing her 3-member chat. Look at that. Looking forward to tomorrow to see the movements. Yes, Nita says, thanks, Ash and Jose in chat. Stay blessed. Phil Coys, he flexing as well. Look at that. Another 3-member chat. Much love to everyone. Come on, you Spurs. Phil, you missed the predictions. Have you got a prediction for it was international week, so we went all over the world, Phil. But there's one game that's being played today, Phil, if you want to get your score in, and that's this game. What's your prediction for this game, Phil? You might as well. You missed out on all the points this week. Do you want to get one in here? It's up to you. If you do, what's the prediction for this game? Phil laughing. Phil laughs at this. Ah, Phil. Ah, yeah. Phil. Phil's just laughing. Okay, at least I made Phil laugh. And then you've got just Hans Potato flexing, saying big up Jose in chat. Come on, you smell. Phil Coy says 3-2 to West Hamos. Drilla says that still makes me laugh. And that's what it's all about, people. You know, at the end of the day, we do love our club. We do support our club. But sometimes, you know, we've got to chill, so to speak. And yeah, we like to chill here. We do talk football. I love talking football, but then I also love chilling as well. So you know, and not having dramas and all going off mad on a mad one and that. So listen, I'm not going to tell people how and what to do, but yeah, just all be good to each other, support the team, and as always, and as I finish it off always, I say to everybody, come on, you Spurs, and in the big Ange, I trust. Take care, everyone. Have a lovely Sunday. I will catch you all tomorrow on the prediction show. Thank you. Take care. God bless.